The first time I tried, this happened. We might have a few sound problems here. The second time I tried. So I'm here in the polytunnel with my amazing melons, and it's been probably over 25 years since I've had a space like this to grow melons. I used to grow them many years ago. And these plants this year have done extremely well in this tunnel. As you can see, they are up here. This is the lateral wire that holds the strings that they are wound around. And that is about 7, probably getting on for 8 foot tall, but most of them are travelling along that lateral by about 3 foot. So they're getting to be 12 foot long, these plants, or 12 foot tall. I've got 15 plants in here and there's 4 varieties. So I've got one plant Minnesota Midget, one plant Malaga, I've got Hales Jumbo, and I have got EMEA. Had to think then. They've done really well. The plants at this end, they produce melons really early, so the melons on those are actually on the ground, whereas the plants towards this end, they didn't set fruit immediately, so they started setting fruit higher up the plant, and with those melons I've had to net them and hold them up with strings because the sheer weight of them was, these are just sort of a nylon string, and the plants are wound around it, but still the sheer weight of 3 or 4 melons will pull the plant down the string, and it ends up collapsing in on itself until the melons actually hit the ground and stop, you know, that transfer of weight. And there's a danger if that happens that your melons will, the stems will snap, and if that happens your melons are pretty much done. You would have to then rely on a side shoot coming off and then training that side shoot up to form, you know, the new leader for the plant. I'll give you a little look at the melons now that have formed. And then I'm going to just quickly talk about how to tell the difference between male and female flowers on melons, where the actual melons are produced on a melon plant, and how you can tell if a fruit has actually set, and how to prune melons. Okay, let's get into it. I've actually also got 5 cucumber plants towards the end of the tunnel there. I didn't need 5, I put 5 in case something happened, you know, because I'm plagued with moles on this ground, being next to the field. The moles are so destructive once they get into the plant roots, because they dig through the plant roots looking for worms, and they've kind of destroyed one of the melons already. But it's picked up because I have been putting bucket after bucket after bucket of water on this plant. I've put about 15 big cans of water on it in the last 2 days, hoping that the remaining roots that are left are enough to keep this plant growing and thriving. And it has kind of worked, because it was this plant here, and every leaf on that plant 2 days ago was down on the stem flat. It just looked dead. And then I found the telltale signs when I was prodding the ground. The stick just disappears and you find the mole run. And what they do, they travel along. When they sense the roots, they'll just tunnel up and scratch around in the root ball and just wreck the roots. So I'm hoping it survives that melon, I really am, because there's a lot of fruit set on it. And there's every chance that the small fruits that are set on that melon now, because it's had such a shock, it might just drop them fruits, in which case there'll be nothing else on it. I'm hoping for a good amount of melons now, from now till, you know, they finish. And I'm hoping to get 4 to 5 per plant, depending on how the melons are growing. I probably won't go more than 5, because these plants will struggle to feed probably 4 to 5 melons really in the growing period that we've got in this country. So these melons are a variety called Hales Jumbo. These melons are probably about size now. I don't think they'll get much bigger. And when they start going soft on the end here, that's when you know that you're ready to harvest. Further up we plant we go, it's setting more melons, so there's a better one there. That's obviously going to develop fully. There's another one there opposite that one. That one is not going to set because it's all soft and squishy. And that's what happens. but on the stem after it is another one, and that one has definitely set. It's that lovely, it's going that lovely green colour, and it is solid. So that is that. Now you get melons from these side shoots which grow between the stem and the leaf. So like a tomato, they'll throw out these side shoots here, and these side shoots will just actually continue and carry on for as long as they will grow. You know, they will just spread and spread and spread. And if you was kind of growing a melon on the floor, I can't in here because I haven't got enough room, but if I was growing them on the floor, I'd just let like the melon develop, and every time it threw out one of these runners and it developed a melon, I would probably just trim that off, because this side shoot will keep growing and throwing melons out on again between the stem and the leaf joint. So you're probably not going to be able to get more than 4 or 5 melons off a plant, as I said, because they won't develop properly. They just will not. Because I've already trimmed this one when that melon looks like it was going to set. It can't put another melon out now. So what I will do is I'll break that side shoot off there. I'll just take that away, and then it keeps the plant clean and it lets plenty of light in. This particular plant has got another one there on another runner there, and it has one above it here as well, and it has another one on the lateral above. I've got 2 plants here, that one and its mate over there. These again are both Hales Jumbo, but these have been really poor, these plants, and you can probably see on the stem there, on those joints where the side shoots have all been cut off. That is because it's been developing melons on these side shoots, but the flowers have barely made anything, and then they've just fallen off. I don't think I'm going to allow this plant to grow much longer, because it is at the top of the vertical line now up here, and it doesn't look to me like it's going to set any fruit at all. The other thing I mentioned, or I might have mentioned in this particular version of this video, is once the melons get up to a certain weight, you start pulling on the plant, and this is a case in point. So these again are a Hales Jumbo, I think. Are they? I think they are. They look like it. These are Hales Jumbo. It's a nice size melon, and there's 3 of these on this plant. There's 2 more down there, and these are developed here on these stems, and they'd actually pull the whole plant onto the ground. I just took my eye off the ball. I was busy doing other things, and I came in one morning, they were all on the ground, and the plant was, let's say, kind of concertina down. Anyway, all this is some scaffold netting which I've cut into a big square. I brought all the corners together, wrapped a little bit of wire around the corners and tied it onto a string, and that string there goes up to the lateral wire along the top and holds them. You know, it takes the weight of them off the plant really. All 3 are the same. So that has set 3 there. I've got in early on this one, and I've already put the net around it to hold it up because there's more fruit setting above it. There's another one there, so just the combined weight of them 3 as they grow will pull this melon down and might possibly break it. It has got another one there. It's got another 2 at the top. Now I don't have to pollinate my melons because the place is a mass with these little guys. You can see it up there. There's little hoverflies, there's bees, there's all sorts of insects coming in here daily visiting these melons. It's late in the evening now, it's about 6:30, so the bees aren't coming in, but the hoverflies are still here buzzing around. So all these higher melons here that are set, they've all been pollinated by these insects. Early on in the season, when these first started, these are the cucumbers by the way, you can see the little hoverfly there. He's just on that cucumber. What I've had to do, there was a spider army in here. Every single melon plant in this place had a spider's web, 2 or 3 spanning between the plants, and I've had to evict all the spiders outside because they were they were catching every single pollinator that came in. Yeah, so they've all been evicted. Quick look at the cucumbers while we're here. There they are. They're not a massive cucumber, these, but they're very, very prolific. These cucumbers, they get to be about 2 inches longer than that, so it'll go about yay long, and then it'll really fatten up. But they are, like I say, they are so prolific. They are just literally hanging in cucumbers all the way up, these things. I've had probably 10 cucumbers off them since they started producing about 2 weeks ago. But going back to the melons, I'm going to show you, if I can, if I've got any flowers left to compare, I'm going to show you the difference between a male flower and a female flower. Is that one? Yeah, it is. Okay. You see this here? This is a male flower because the base of the actual flower is not swollen and bulbous, whereas the female flowers will have a little bulbous swelling, like a little tiny miniature melon behind the flower. And what you can do early on, if you haven't got many pollinators coming in, there's always these little beetles in here as well. But you can just pollinate these by just getting a little paintbrush or something and going into the male flower, then go into the female flower and just, you know, transfer the pollen. I will find you a female flower now somewhere. So that is a female flower. That is a female flower. If you can see that lovely bulbous shape behind it there, and that is a melon. That is another one. That is another one just above it, which is slightly bigger, but that basically in miniature, you know. And also, the females on these plants tend to only form from the side shoots. You will get more male flowers just coming out of the stems like that, from these like branches, and then you will get the side shoot coming off, and you will get the female melons coming on the side shoots further down. You also get male flowers coming on the side shoots, but the majority coming on the side shoots tend to be female. You can see here that there's another 2 melons set on this one, 2 varying sizes. These will need to be netted, and on the on the third one above that is another melon set there. Quick look at my tomatoes. There's 2 plants here. These are my Shirley tomatoes. As you can see, they are absolutely loaded with fruit, and I think they're about to change colour now. So they're about to start ripening these. These tomatoes are planted in pairs, so you know I've got 2 Shirleys, 2 Brandy Boys, 2 Rose Crushes, 2 Sun Gold, 2 Honeydews. Every variety I've got, 2 Black Troffellis. I'll show you something interesting now about the Black Troffelli plants actually. Can you see that little guy there on the edge of that little glass that's in the ground? There's a little baby frog there. Don't know if the cameras can pick him up, but I've got a load of little tiny baby frogs in the polytunnel. They've been hopping across the allotment by the 100. They must have all been a big hatch out from the ditches, and quite a few of them have made their way in here, and they were a welcome sight, to be honest with you. But right next to it anyway is this what I perceive to be a Black Troffelli. I bought 10 seeds. I sowed them in March. The germination was horrendous, but 2 did come up. And this is supposed to be one of them, but to me this does not look like Black Troffelli at all. And I'll show you the other plant which came up in the Black Troffelli section, and that is this one. This one, the shape of that fruit more resembles a Black Troffelli to me, so it's quite possible that this is my Black Troffelli plant and the other one is not. The other sad thing is I've been pulling all the side shoots off this and throwing them away, and yet on this one I have propagated about 15 side shoots and planted them all over the allotment. So I think that one is purely and simply a volunteer tomato that came up from some random seed that was in my compost, and we will have to see what they taste like. But one way or the other we're going to find out which one is the Black Troffelli, I think. We've got some Rose Crush tomatoes here, which are absolutely ginormous. Look at the size of them things. massive. And then we've got various other plants here like Honey Delight on this one, Honey Delight on that one, and the fruits on these smaller tomatoes always tend to ripen the first, so got lovely long trusses on them, and plenty of fruit, so they're actually coming ready. They're not a bad tasting tomato, the Honey Delight, at all. They're not bad at all, but they sure haven't got the sweetness of Sun Gold. You can see the trusses on them, they're absolutely ginormous. And these here are my banana chilies, and I've already taken maybe 5 or 6 off this plant, and it's really producing well now. Plenty of flowers still coming on up the plants. I've got 3 of these banana chilies, and several of these sweet peppers here, which are just starting to change colour, as you can possibly see. So I've tended to grow all the small stuff around the front of the tomatoes and cucumbers. I've also interplanted some nice basil there. The smell of this basil is just beautiful. With all this sun and heat we've had, the sweet red peppers are just starting to get colour in them now. Yeah, there's the aubergines. There's 2 more coming. I only took one of these yesterday. There's 2 more growing there. Plenty of flowers on these. I think I've got 4 or 5 aubergine plants growing in here. And this plant here is my cayenne pepper. You can see there's loads and loads of these little cayennes on here. Absolutely loaded with them. I've got 3 cayenne pepper plants growing as well. Hopefully this is it for the polytunnel tour. I don't want to do another one. It's just so restrictive in here because the plants are sort of gradually taking over the path, and it's just very difficult to get a camera in. But anyway, that's the melons and the tunnel and all the other things that are growing in here. Thanks to my patrons. I will go on a plot tour, I think. I've had some amazing potatoes off the plot, truly incredible. I'll be pulling some more up this week, so I'll bring you on and show you them. Some beautiful Ulster Prince, some beautiful Charlotte potatoes, some Estimas. Oh, they've been so good. Right guys, catch you in the next one. See you soon. Bye for now.